podcast. Tonight we shall be talking about the North London derby nightmare, as I've named it, Thrashed. I've never seen Arsenal get thrashed 1-0 before, put it that way. It may only have been one, but certainly should have been a bit more if we're going to be honest. Joining me tonight, a man we haven't spoken to for a while and delighted to have him back on, is Mr. Kenny Ken. How are you, sir?
Still despondent, still hurting for the defeat, and still trying to basically block calls from all my Spurs mates. So yeah, losing the North London derby is probably one of the worst feelings in the world. And you know what? I hate it. It's horrible. I just wish we were playing Spurs, man, this weekend so we can get, like I said, right that wrong.
Right the wrong, yeah. And a man who doesn't need any introduction at all, Mr. Memz. How are you, sir?
Yeah, good, Craig. Thanks for having us back on. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, Lee, and Mr. Kenny Ken as well, looking very, very muscular. Kenny.
Yeah. See that chest.
Good evening to you all on YouTube. Messages coming in. Good evening, Luke. Good evening, Majib. Nigel, Kev, Luke.
Nigel Plum.
I just said that, didn't I? Labanda, Locker de Arsenal.
Hi, Majib.
That's some name, I'll tell you. And then personal ones coming in on Periscope from Eiffel 7. Say hello, Memz. Don't mind the rest of us. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Memz. There's another one. There's another one for Memz. Like, good to see. Good to see Memz back from the dead.
Right, 1 minute. Can you just say like to Majib, because Majib's like, I mean, he's been like, he's always, Arsenal fan too. He's all been loyal to me.
Yes, that's so Majib. Yeah.
Oh, mate, I know you're watching. Thanks for the support, mate.
Brilliant. And again, a man who needs no introduction. My sidekick, Mr. Lee Judges. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm all right, thank you very much. I've had better weeks. Got a little bit of a cold as well, so...
Bit of man flu?
Bit of man flu, yeah. So standing in the freezing cold, wet rain at Wembley and watching that load of rubbish, you know what I mean?
Labanda, watching from Buenos Aires. Goodness me.
Nice.
That's pretty mad. Pretty mad to know. Thank you very much. Apologies about last night. My little girl decided that she was going to scare the life out of me and pretend that her appendix was just about to burst. But unfortunately, it wasn't her appendix. So I was glad about that. But she was in a bit of pain, the poor little kid.
News.
And,
great news, right?
So sorry to cancel at such short notice, but as I've always said, even on the Gooner Talk, if it's a member of my family, the podcast can go and fuck itself. Rightly so. So yes, let's start with Kenny Ken. Kenny, you unfortunate enough to be at Wembley on Saturday. Let's be honest, Ken. 1-0 didn't do Tottenham much justice, did it? It should have been a lot more.
Not surprised, Craig. I think what's happened in the first half, I think it was like beta feelers. I think we missed the opportunity to actually take the game at very tentative. And what we should have done is like up the tempo a bit. Because the minute Tottenham up the tempo in the second half, we just couldn't cut all the sort of old problems, like our lack of fitness away from home, just told. And I think that's an issue that's going to ask yourself, what's their training like? Is their training soft? Because I don't understand that against Bournemouth, they outrun us, Swansea outrun us, and now Spurs up the. And I think that's the thing that really hurts more than anything. They battered us. If it wasn't for Petr Cech, we'd have lost the game by quite a few goals, and that is the problem we're always going to have. The way we play now is that the emphasis should be more on training and how to play when we don't have the ball. And that's my biggest concern. When we don't have the ball, physically, we're just useless. It wasn't so much an issue when we had players like Van Persie, Naz, Pleb, even Rosicky, because we had most of the ball. The teams were chasing us. But when the emphasis is now, where teams are basically having a lot of creative players, when they have more of the ball, and our work off the ball has to be a lot better. And I think away from home, especially at Wembley, it was embarrassing. Actually, it's quite embarrassing.
It was.
The thing is that Moussa Dembele basically had the whole of Wembley. Jack Wilshere was basically doing an El Neni before him, was basically jobs again. Granit, bit out of his depth. First half he looked all right. Second half he was chasing shadows. And like poor old Koscielny got battered by Kane. Mustafi about that. So it's something that if we don't sort out now, and we don't play 5 at the get mullered away from home. Back 4, I will never understand or accept. When we play 5 at the back, we give Granit more protection. We give and we all go in a line. The ball to play 4 at the back is suicidal, especially against Spurs.
Absolutely,
really.
Mate. Absolutely. Memz, one I noticed about the game, especially in the first half, was our passing was absolutely piss poor. How can you, now, I'm not talking about quality of player here, right? I'm talking about how can you go last week playing against Crystal Palace, right? Okay, Crystal Palace and Spurs, yes, massive goal for class, right? But our passing against Crystal Palace was on point. Every ball that was passed was on point. How can we go from playing like that, go to Spurs, and then we can't, no one can find each other? It was absolutely ridiculous. The passing, it was so terrible.
It's a great question, mate. And honestly, I wish I knew the answer. I mean, when I watched us against Everton at the Emirates, for the first half an hour, we blew them away, didn't we? And Mkhitaryan was linking up really well with Aubameyang, and it was almost shades of Perez and Henry again. It was like, and everyone got like really excited, and everyone came out saying, how the 2 new signings have been going to give us all this, great lift of optimism around the club. It was so different, like you said, from one week to another. And you would have hoped that against Spurs, that some of the players would have been told how much it meant. But for me, it just looked like the Arsenal players weren't up for it. Wilshere probably was the only exception. Mustafi getting stuck in, but there wasn't really that aggression in terms of like a North London derby. There wasn't those really challenges flying in. I mean, in terms of sort of like creativity and chances, I can't remember Hugo Lloris or probably the last 10, 15 minutes. We created absolutely nothing. And Mkhitaryan's passing was off. Xhaka's passing was off. We created absolutely until probably Lacazette came on. He had those 2 chances. And I know Lacazette's getting quite a lot of stick on social media, but at least he was there to sort of like, put chance. The volley that the cross came in, for me, was probably the easiest chance at the 2. And he's having a better run. Maybe he could have taken an extra touch and he could have slotted that home, but he snatched at it because the confidence ain't there. He's had the second chance as well, and the goal. I thought to myself, just dink it over the goalkeeper, but he didn't. He went to place it low. He's gone, Craig. His confidence is nowhere there. It's a shame, but looking at analysing the whole game, we can't really make it that we were beaten by a better team on the day, beaten by players that wanted it more, players that are probably more in tune with their manager, they were more accustomed to playing in the formation that they're playing in. Everyone knows their position in the Spurs lineup. Arsenal were chopping and changing, and they deserved it. We can blame refs, we can manager, we can sit here and blame players. They deserved it. They're a better team than us at the moment. None of us want to admit it, but that's the reality. And they deserved it more than what we did.
Yeah. I mean, I have to agree with you there, mate, as much as that hurts to admit, yes. I think I tweeted it out after the game. They wanted it more. And in a derby, that's worth an extra player if you want it more. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I probably, in my lifetime, probably the worst North London derby performance I've ever seen from an Arsenal team, to be honest with you.
There's a few that stick out on them.
Yeah, well, that one was the biggest thumb sticker outer, if you want. Lee, why were we so poor against Spurs, Lee?
Well, I honestly think, one, we're not bloody good enough, and that's as simple as that, not defensively good enough, we don't set up properly, and, from the manager. I also think that maybe I'm trying to clutch at straws a little bit, but Aaron Ramsey being taken out right at the last minute, maybe that they'd sort of set up a game plan and how they were going to change last minute, because it was that disorganised the performance that I can't see how it had for it on this one, I'm afraid, Craig. Two most, I would say, white players that are creative players, Mesut Ozil and Mkhitaryan, were playing on the flanks. Why that is, I haven't got a clue. There's been a massive debate about whether you can fit Ramsey and Wiltshire in the team, and then he goes and puts Mkhitaryan out wide and Ozil out left. And realistically, basically in the second half, I think is that Tottenham at half time, someone in their coaching staff said, "Look, this is how they're playing. This is how we can get it." And they put the two fullbacks a lot wider, just so they were now chasing back. Wenger done nothing, Craig. He just hoping that it was going to ride itself out. Then when he makes the substitutions, let's be honest, they're in desperation. They're not things. It's just chuck Lacazette on, and we might get a couple of chances. In fact, when we put them two guys on, we did have chances, as Memz said with the Lacazette one. Welbeck had a good chance if he could control the ball as well when he was put through. But why didn't we go with that in the first place? Now, I've gone to Wembley on Saturday, and it was, say, about 15-20 minutes left in the game. It was like a damage limitation performance, you know what I mean? We wasn't never going to win the game. It was without being humiliated. Now, we had that last season at Wembley. At White Hart Lane, we got beat 2-0. Petr Cech made save after save. It could have been 5 or 6, and we was relieved to get out of White Hart Lane with damage limitation. Us, and it's absolutely destroying. It's soul destroying. You know what I mean? I went there on Saturday, optimistic. We're going to give them a go. They play a high line. We're going to attack them. I was thinking this could be 3 or 4-2, 3-2 to them, 4-2 to us, 4-2 to them, whatever. I was thinking it was going to be a great game. Saturday, looking around, just absolutely, totally disappointed with what I was seeing. The play, as you see, we've already said about it, the passing. They Pochettino's done a number on Wenger. It's happened again. And what does Wenger actually? I just can't see where we can go from now. I really can't, because we're now getting humiliated by Tottenham. And it ain't the first time. You know what I mean? Like, one game you can understand it. Man, someone got stuffed, but it was one in a lifetime. We are getting humiliated in top 5 sort of game. You know what I mean? Like, we don't. Somebody said on Twitter the other day, we've got a draw at Chelsea. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're brilliant. You know what I mean? But that's the best we can hope for, is a draw at one of these clubs. We're not there looking like we're ever going to win a game, and. Listen, Spurs have not even got their own ground and they're better than us, Craig. Come on, there's no more excuses left, and that's it. By what I've seen, but I felt let down. I've got to say, I've come away from let down. I don't know if we're going to talk about it. Wobie walks over to the fans at the like for someone to ring him and all that. There's just so many things wrong about our football club, Craig, and I'm afraid it starts from the manager, and he's allowing it. It's got to be addressed.
I didn't see what happened with Obi. Memz or Kenny Ken? Does anyone know what happened there?
Well, I think what Lee's talking about was the fact that the players came over Jack came over, I clapped him off. And I didn't really see what happened with Iwobi, but doing my research, I did, and I saw the footage again. Iwobi's come over, and it's just like the Emirates, where you think that they're clapping us off, contacting their family in the sort of upper tier boxes. And I think what Iwobi's done is he's contacted a friend or a family member and say, call me. Now, that's all well and good. That's not a problem. But when you've got the cameras on you, you just lost the North London derby. You already had the situation with the party before Nottingham Forest. You're under a microscope, Alexander. The Arsenal fans are basically 20% are in your favour, 80% are against you. That's the last thing we need to see. We are devastated we lost the North London derby. Yeah. We're humiliated. Not just Arsenal fans in the stadium, but Arsenal fans all over the world are hurting by this defeat. And the last thing we want is to see you saying, oh yeah, call me. We don't want to have gone to the dressing room, we're out of our sight, and just sent a little text or call me and meet me somewhere. There was no need for that. When is this guy gonna learn that when you play for Arsenal, you're under the microscope, and every minute thing is gonna basically kill you. All right?
Yeah, he's immature, isn't he?
And that's immature. And the thing about it, right, I'm sorry, you can't make excuses for his age, because you've got players like Harry Kane, older than Iwobi, but he has a professional outlook. I've got to admire about Harry Kane. He did his yards. He was at Leicester City. He was at Millwall. It was Leighton Orient. He's done his yards as a footballer. This guy has been...
So right.
And it shouts. And let's Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson. Eddie Nketiah was on £2,000 a week. He scores 2 goals. We up his wages. Why? Why? Why are we doing this? Why are we giving these guys? Why are these guys not earning the right to play for Arsenal? Why is it coming too much too soon? I know they've got agents. I respect that. And I know they've got probably families to feed and their breadwinners. I get that. But if you football, the rewards will come. Earn it. And the DNA of this football club, it is too soft. And that's why when Arsene goes, I want the whole thing changed. Yeah. I want the DNA of the whole thing. I want the playing side to change. I want the whole playing side from the under 16s to the first team changing, which means the way we play, the players that come from the academy, and the players we sign. That is the DNA of play we should be getting there. And it should be in tune with modern football, the physical side of the game now. It is well intentioned what Arsene's doing in terms of like the passing, the tick-a-tap at football. But as I said to you before, Craig, and I say to you, Memz, as well, the worst thing that's ever happened to Arsenal Football Club was Spain, 2008 Europa Championships, winning the Europa 2012, and Barcelona. Because what it did, it gave Arsene Wenger basically kudos to play this football. Now, what Arsene needs to realise is that football, right, is they tire teams out. One way, tiring teams out, but he didn't do the work to win the ball. Change.
Yeah.
That was my point at Wembley that I said before, in that when we didn't have the ball, minutes, we were knackered. And if you talk about the football that Lee was talking about, and Memz was talking about, I'm from Islington, right? I'm from Andover Estate and Finchley Park, right? We used to play headers and volleys and all in, right? The way Arsenal play is like headers and volleys and all in. Memz, you played that. Lee, I know you played it as well. That is how Arsenal play. There is no structure to our attack. And that's why you're going to see inconsistency. You're going to see it at home, where we're excellent, and away from home. You're talking about how we got humiliated by Spurs. Why are you surprised Bournemouth when they outran us?
No, I agree. You know,
Swansea when they outran us. we've spoken about this at length, about the fact that in the last 70 minutes of a away game, we are teams outrun us. It's not that. That's not going to change overnight, and that's why the whole DNA of how we play has got to change. Because modern football's like that now. No. Man City in the League Cup final, sorry for going on with that, set them apart is the fact that they're going to keep on playing at tempo. They're going to attack us from different places. It's going to be a problem. I'm finished now, but that's my rant.
And I loved it. And I loved it. I love an old Kenny Ken rant, I've got to say. Just coming into the chat box there, some of you seem to be having some difficulty with the audio, and some people are not. So I'm not too sure what's happening there. Please do remember there is a stream, and there is probably a little bit of delay. I'm not too sure why some of you can hear us and some of you can't. Sorry, chaps. Memz, let's talk about Lacazette out injured for 6 weeks.
Yes.
I didn't even know he was injured. Did anyone know? Did anyone know that he was injured? Kenny, did you know that he was injured? Lee, did you?
No,
Ben,
not
did you?
so.
No.
What is going on there?
I can tell you what's confidence has been absolutely destroyed.
So what you're saying, he's not injured?
I think he probably is carrying an injury, but on top of what's actually happened to him as well, they've made a decision that if he was carrying a slight injury, rather than playing on it, decision comes now, take him at the firing line, let's get the operation done. If he did have that niggling noggle, he get it sorted now, let's take him at the firing line. It's been absolutely ruined by Arsene Wenger. And I've really want to come out and criticise the manager. Sometimes I think, and I think the way that he's handled Lacazette, it's absolutely ruined him. I mean, I used to be a striker at a decent enough level, and if my confidence was low, I would hesitate in front of goal. It wouldn't come naturally to me. If there was an element of doubt in me, I would be thinking about how I'll be trying to make too sure when I was finishing, or if maybe I would even consider passing if my confidence was low. But when you're a confident striker, you shoot from anywhere. It comes instinctively. You do things without even thinking. And I think because of the fact that he's not playing a full 90 minutes, because he knows that the manager's going to take him off at 65 minutes, because it was dropped for a couple of big games where Sanchez was played ahead of him, he's got doubts that if this manager be thinking Arsene Wenger doesn't quite have trust in me. He knows he's going to come off. He knows that he's not going to be necessarily first time selection. He's seen another striker coming in now, in at Aubameyang. So he came on the pitch and he looked absolutely you can see in his face, in the first couple of minutes, so it doesn't look like he was completely focused. See that, the expressions on his face that he had those 2 chances and it just didn't even look like scoring. But if a player is confident, if a manager is behind him, you get that extra 10 or 15%. And Mohamed Salah is showing that. There's other players that are showing that. If you've got a manager that's backing you, that's going to trust you, that's going to keep on playing you when you're not playing well, show confidence in you, eventually those goals will come. And with Lacazette, I think he's been ruined. I honestly do. And I can't now, because obviously Aubameyang's he's going to have to be content with being an impact player off the bench or playing in cup games.
Well, I've got to say, and I might bring a bit of controversy to it, but Aubameyang was dog shit and all against Spurs.
Well, let's be fair. I mean, it's his second game.
Well,
I'll
give you that. It's his second game.
But Craig, honestly, I reckon any striker that's currently playing in our team with our formation, I mean, we ain't creating anything. As a striker, as being a lone striker, you're expecting that lone striker to run the channels, to hold the ball up, to get involved, close things down. He's got to have supply. He's got to have support around him. We're knocking balls up. Aubameyang's not the Drogba type striker that's going to sort of muscle and bounce players out of the way and bring other players into the game. Top or through the channels. He got one of those side, but we're not really creating. I honestly believe with the strikers that we've got, they'll be better off playing in a 4-4-2. They'll be better off playing up there. Millions of pounds worth of strikers up there, and we're not getting the best out of them.
Yeah.
Let's put them up there together in a 4-4. Lacazette up there together and see what they're going to do. Because apart from that, they're going to be isolated. We're not going to create enough, starve their confidence, and honestly, it's a complete mess at the moment.
It is. Lee, what? I didn't think he played well. I didn't think Aubameyang played well at all.
No, he had a poor game, Craig.
Every time he got the ball, he done nothing with it. I get what Memz is saying when he's isolated up there on his own. I didn't see anything from him when he got the ball to turn me on. Let's say. We're talking about Lacazette now, who has got this mystery injury that's come out of nowhere. I don't believe he's injured. Not for 1 minute do I believe he's injured. I believe that perhaps Arsenal are taking him out of the firing line. What's been going on since that game? Twitter, this, that, the other. And by the way, if you are watching this and you are one of those dickheads that have been abusing Granit Xhaka and have been abusing Lacazette on Twitter, just go away, lock yourself into a little room and have a word with yourself. Okay? You might not like them, but at the end of the day, they're wearing the red of Arsenal. They've got the badge on them. They play for Arsenal. Get behind them. Yes, we can. Yes, we can talk about if they were poor. Yes, we can talk, but that's discussion. That's not abuse. That's not being abusive. If you're one of them, go and have a word with yourself, please.
Craig, honestly, well said. I honestly believe that these fans that are abusing our players, the ones that are giving death threats to Lacazette and to Xhaka, I honestly believe they're not Arsenal fans. I believe that they're rival fans, such as Spurs or Chelsea or any other fans that have created these fake accounts and deliberately putting up an Arsenal profile or whatever, an Arsenal bio, and targeting our players to cause disharmony within our fan base and disharmony within our club. I don't believe for a second that any true Arsenal fan used to our players the way they have. So as far as I'm concerned, they're not true Arsenal fans.
But still,
totally.
Yes. That said, it's fucking. I've never seen nothing like it. Seriously,
they're just trolls, mate. And you see that Katie Price came out and she's trying to do something. People in the spotlight, film stars, politicians, etc. They all get it, and unfortunately now footballers now get it as well. They are true Arsenal fans that will go out. I mean, you see even ex-players like Ian Wright was getting loads of abuse the other day. I mean, I lived through the '89 game at Anfield. These players are heroes to me. These players I can never say anything bad about Lee. These players, regardless of what their opinions may be, they gave me some of the happiest days of my life. I can never give them any abuse.
People are very slow to realise. We'll go back to Lee. Sorry, mate.
Right.
People are very slow to realise that these players like Ian Wright and Lee Dixon and Alan Smith, that's their job now. They're pundits. That's what they get paid to do. Just because Ian Wright is having a go at Arsenal doesn't mean that he don't love us. He don't love us anymore. He don't love the club anymore. He's paid to pick out the bad. That's what he's paid to do. Why can't people realise this? It's just the trolling this weekend has just been an absolute shambles. And to be honest with you, quite embarrassing to be an Arsenal fan if they are Arsenal fans. Lee, sorry, mate. Lacazette.
No.
Lacazette, a mystery injury, mate. What's going on?
I don't understand that. I'm with you. There's obviously something. I think what Memz was saying, that he's probably got a little injury and they thought, let's just take him out the firing line, we'll get it all sorted. What we're saying with Aubameyang. The trouble is at the moment, particularly away from home, we're playing a game where, like we did on Saturday, where we're not going to have as much as, we give up the territory of the. And so then you're asking players like Mkhitaryan and Ozil to defend. When you've got them on the pitch, use them to. Their strengths. We didn't use the strengths of Aubameyang. We didn't use the strengths of Mkhitaryan and Ozil, and we tried to go to the strengths which is our weakness as a defending unit. And it's if you play still three up top, just play. I'm convinced that he can play that. He's played that there for Lyon. He's played there for France. What you've got to try and do, and as a manager, your best players, you've got to try and get them all into the team and in the system. Now, if that system is with a back four or back three, then you've got to do it. Now, Arsene Wenger has now had all season, and the majority of last season as well, let's be honest, of trying to sort out our play and a system that's going to suit everybody away from home. And it continually fails. We can't, as Kenny said, we've gone to Bournemouth and lost. We've gone to West Brom and got a draw. We've gone to Southampton and not won. I've seen Southampton probably the worst team in the league. We've not beaten them. All the teams at the bottom, we've not turned over. So what gives us the right to think that we can go to the top? It's beyond me. But I look at other teams, and set up a defensive system against the, against Manchester United. They're not as. You're telling me that those defenders are Arsenal players. They're putting up a system. They're defending our unit. But you could see it being worked on.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, brilliant. So, what? Straight away?
Yeah, brilliant, mate. 1 minute on the clock. First attack. Fuck off, you Spurs. Sorry.
The chat box is going mental now as well. Higuain!
Higuain, what a finish.
I want more than one. I want about 8.
So all of a sudden now Spurs become a team that are just there to make up the numbers.
Yeah, well, let's see. Don't.
Let's not jinx it. Yeah. Oh, even better. Even better.
That's where we are with Arsenal at the moment. No real constructive play. I'll put a tweet out. Steve Bold do, you know what I mean? And I'm fed up with, I love Steve Bold. How can he just sit there, Craig? I'm in the stands, pulling what air I've left out the airlight. You know what I mean? Because I can't take it no more. I'm sitting there going, get off your arse and kick. It's just, there's no.
Ken's telling you, look, what does Steve Bold do?
Well,
£20
note. If that's the case, that's a disgrace.
Yeah.
Money talks, Lee, mate. Money talks, loads of money. That's it, mate.
But at the end of the day, I'll tell you about that then, right? And I'll have a good conversation about this. If that is the case, and Arsenal, Steve Bold ain't going to get a job anywhere else.
No.
He ain't going to get a job anywhere else because Arsenal the new man's going to come in and say, I want my coaching staff and this and that. And his reputation is, why this is happening, is draining and draining and draining. Now, if he come out and, I have ex-professional Arsenal players going, oh, well, I've been told he's not allowed to do this and so. Case, see you later. Do the honourable thing and go, do you know what? I'm resigning from this post because I'm not allowed to say what I'm saying. Do you know what? Every Arsenal fan would back him. And it's just frustrating. And I watch Arsenal and I watch Tottenham on Saturday. Exactly what they're doing. They're a unit that knows what every player doing. Whether another player comes in, know what they're. We play off the.
Headers and volleys.
Bellerin, for instance, goes down the wing.
Don't talk to me about him.
He gets to the halfway line and then he backs in. He checks back. He does it all the time. He doesn't go beyond, and I'll tell you what we did miss. We did miss Ramsey because Ramsey's the one that just pushes into those little holes and you can play a little 1-2 off of him. He didn't have that action, you know what I mean? Because we've got the two holding midfield players. They couldn't hold up a bank, the pair of them, but that's another story. But, the end of it, he doesn't really go into this constructive bit. And we can talk about Lacazette and Kolasinac. I thought he was absolutely outstanding at the beginning of the season. All of a sudden, another one. Now, we had a debate yesterday because these guys are not Arsene Wenger signings, so he's leaving them out to dry. Where, you know, like Iwobi seems to get chance after chance, and Giroud got chance after chance when he was there. All of a sudden, Kolasinac and Lacazette, sort of the old call's been cut straight away with these guys. You know what I mean? But I then look at Koscielny and Mustafi. I'm sorry, you know, we've got to be rude. They're not good enough. They're not good enough to get us into. They're just too. You know what I mean? I thought like Mustafi will have an outstanding game one day, but I said it a couple of weeks ago at Everton. You know, had 80% of the game. We won 5-1. What does that tell you? That, you know, they've been for five minutes and they can't because they're diving in and getting books, and then they're diving into challenges. They're not good enough. You know, side of it. You know, whose tactic was it to put Pet of our football team? Who's, you know what I mean? His worst part of his game. Why is he all of a sudden now being told to play out of the back and do things like that? It's unbelievable. Not only was it not working, we continue to persist with it. Why didn't someone say, well, this is not working, let's go to plan B? Craig. None of it. And it was just an awful performance from the word go. And again, sit down, lads, and just walks away. And at the end of it, he just doesn't seem to be accountable. Go on to the next. Again, now, you know, out of the.
Memz has gone missing.
I think he throws out, like, you know, so.
He does, yeah. He's got like the old pedal bike internet.
Yeah.
I think he's probably been kicked out because I think his boys are upstairs playing on the Xbox. So they're probably taking up all his bandwidth.
Yeah.
But where does this going back to the Lacazette thing? You know, where does this leave us now? I mean, we've got three fit strikers now. One being Aubameyang, two being Welbeck, and three being Eddie. Okay, so Aubameyang can't play in the Europa League. That leaves us with Welbeck or Eddie for the Europa League.
Again, I've got to say it. Poor management by you know, people go. Listen, people have said to me, right, and I'm going to be a little bit controversial here. Oh well, what? Well, we wouldn't have got a banging then, like, you know what I mean? Well, we can't win the league. We're not going to get top four. You know, the only way we can get a Champions League place is right, we do the deal. We make sure that he's here in the summer, and we keep Giroud because the end of it now, we haven't got a top class striker going into these games until Lacazette comes back, and at the moment we know what he's suffering. We've got, you know, I can see us, you know, getting through. I can see us getting through this round. But I honestly can't see us taking on the likes of Africa and beating them. I really can't. I'm really worried about it, like, you know.
Memphis is back.
2-0 Juventus.
What, 2-0?
2-0, mate. 7 minutes gone. 2-0 Higuain. 2.
It's going. Oh, it's getting.
Love it.
Love it, Memphis.
Lee Judges is doing that thing with his teeth when he gets. We've all seen that on Arsenal Fan TV.
Yeah, listen, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we shouldn't be getting shouldn't be getting our kicks out of
we shouldn't.
Tottenham, like.
No, we shouldn't. But it helps.
We've got to do ourselves, you know what I mean? So
it helps.
It does ease the pain a little bit, like, you know. Especially do you know what? You know, quickly just walked into work, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Champions League starts this week. Who you got? Yeah. Oh no, you're out of it, aren't you? Like, you know, like.
No, you're dead right. I mean, look at us sitting outside it, taking the mickey.
Yeah.
But look, it's Tottenham, innit? Kenny,
Yes.
Where is Memz still there?
Memz
I'm here, mate.
Oh, you're there.
Here.
We'll come to Memz and Kenny and ask the question: where does this leave us, lads, for the rest of the season? We've got 11 games left.
In the shit.
Can we, Kenny? Can we? Is there any way that we can qualify for Champions League?
Yes, for the Europa League.
Well, yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to? Do you believe that we're going to win the Europa League?
Well, we've got to believe in it. We've got to believe because,
Yeah,
all
I
due
agree.
respect, you've got people like Lee who goes home and away. You've got Memz who's passionate about Arsenal. It's you yourself who are doing shows like this. We have to believe. It's not me just being positive. It's just factual. You've got to be in it and win it.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that, all right, Aubameyang's not playing, but Danny's got to put his hand up and say, look, I'm back now, and put his hand up. And the same with Eddie. This football's all about taking chances. 2 years ago, Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
He plays in the Europa League. He scores twice against the Norwegian side. He's a legend. One door slams, another door opens, and that's we got to believe. We got to believe. We know it's crap. We know we're not going to get in the top four through legitimate means. Their away form is too poor. Plus, Liverpool are strong, United are strong, Chelsea are strong. They won last night. Tottenham are believe he's strong. We're struggling for even fifth place. We know that. So it has to be the Europa League. We have to put all our eggs into that. And talking about the Drew thing, just going back, Lee says, it is sad, but let's be honest. In October, Arsene Wenger and Olivier must have had the conversation where Olivier had to be told that he's first choice and he's got many games. They've had to have that conversation. Same with. And the thing is, right, is that the bottom line is that they are earning big money, which means if you want to get the Aubameyangs and all the players we want, all the midfielders like the series, you have to get rid of the dead wood. And those two were dead wood at the time because they're just not playing. And I'm afraid that's the way it is now with Arsenal. If we're going to want these big players now, with Sven and Raul in the side, get rid of the dead wood and then get Mayers in. I'm going to say, you like Aaron Ramsey, and was like Aaron Ramsey, but the devil inside me is saying, sell him. He's got a year left in his contract. He's a sellable asset. We can get 60 between 50 and 60 million for him. Make improvements in terms of defence. Let's sacrifice him.
Oh, no, I'll go along with that now, Kenny, because he's always injured.
Yeah,
he's always.
it's a good point. Look,
Personal.
Nothing personal. Exactly that. Now I know that I speak to Woz a lot on Twitter and stuff like that, and he's an avid lover of Aaron Ramsey, and can tell me anytime I question him why Aaron Ramsey should be playing for Arsenal.
I like the Woz as well.
So do I. Love him to bits, but the thing about it is what Lee just said. It's like he's always injured. You know, if we need players, reliability. We need players to be in a team week in, week out, know their role, and give it everything they've got.
It's going to be 27 this year. Now, Aaron, as always, Laddie stated that he wants to play in Europe. He wants to play for one of the big teams in Europe. At 27 years old, this is a beautiful opportunity for him to test his water. Like I said, maybe Aaron needs proper coaching to get the best out of him. Maybe someone like Allegri at Juventus, they'll pay the money. They've got money through fiat. It has to be something that's explored. I know people talking about giving Aaron the captaincy. I'm talking about footballing reasons. I'm talking about business. Who is play abroad. If we want to make the improvements that we all want and what we all need, let's think about selling them. Danny as well. Requirements. Let's flog the horse. Let's get him into as much out of him at the end of the season. Tara, off you go. We can clearly get more money. Let's be ruthless now.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
It's going to get worse. We know we know the new man who takes over has got a job inside him. Let's give the new man money to spend by getting rid of players who are not good enough to play for Arsenal. Arsenal, by the way, but he is basically the big cow on which we can get a lot of money by selling him to the farmer who has more money. It's business. Yeah, Dave. He's a cow.
Can I say something on that, Ken? I mean, there was a great interview before the Arsenal-Spurs game with Jake Humphreys on BT Sports, and he interviewed Arsene Wenger. I don't know if any of you lads saw that.
Yeah, I said
it was a cracking interview, and he asked Arsene that, why he didn't sign a defender in the transfer window, and Arsene said that there was no one available with the money that we had, and they pointed out Johnny Evans, and they said to him, well, Johnny Evans was available, and he turned around and said, Arsene, not with the resources that we had. We made a 20 during the 2 transfer windows. So where's the fucking money?
Yeah,
You know, where's the money that Stan Kroenke's supposed to be investing?
Memz, I've got your answer, mate. Your answer is Arsene said and admitted that when he buys players on the ball and when the ball, comfortable possession and can pass the ball, and that's throughout the whole team. That's the whole DNA of the team. Lee, you're talking about Petr Cech, wanting to play from the back. Well, all Arsene's done is copied Man City, where the only now in Europe, especially now Pep's come to the Premiership, is you want to play football from the back. Your goalkeeper's to be good on the ball. And that's why Petr's now playing like that, because we're not basically create the chances that we used to create before when we had Fabregas and Cohen side. So he wants to do what Man City do and attack from deep. You can only attack from deep if your goalkeeper's good on his feet, and that's what he's trying to do. Arsene, in terms of Johnny Evans, basically is only interested in attacking players, not interested in defending. Say that there was not enough money is first class rubbish, really. He is not good enough on the ball. He does not meet the DNA of the player I want, and that's why I didn't buy him. Arsene could have had £100 million defender. Arsene Wenger does not. It's factual. When he looks at a defender, it's basically players who are good on the ball and basically.
Well, it don't work, can it?
It don't work. I know that. You know that. But that's
so he's got to change or he's got to go. You know what I mean?
Let's not forget that Arsene got Sol Campbell on a free. He got.
Great point.
Say this, Craig. There is a little rumour that maybe they didn't go for him because they're going to sign. There is a big rumour.
Well, Alderweireld.
I'd love it. I've seen the rumours. I've seen the rumour.
He's activated the £25 million.
Yeah.
Any team can now do that. And if it's the case, he might have felt to himself, I'm just being devil advocate here, just saying, well, I'll tell you, what's the point of buying him for 20 million when I can get him 25 in the summer?
Lee,
I don't know.
Lee, why would he come to Arsenal?
Well, why has Aubameyang come to Arsenal?
It's a good point, Memz. I think.
Why would he leave Spurs, who are in the Champions League, in a higher position than us, probably in a better position and more chance of winning? Why would he join Arsenal?
Because perhaps he knows stuff we don't.
No.
Sorry, Ken. I think Aubameyang has joined Arsenal because he knows something that we don't.
No, he's joined Arsenal for this because he was only 70,000 a week in Dortmund.
Yeah, but he could have gone anywhere.
He could have gone anywhere, though. He could have gone anywhere, though, Ken.
Could have gone other places.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but you've got to realise the thing. Spurs, when it comes, they're a better side than us, footballing-wise.
Yeah, they are.
But when it comes to money, though, in terms of transfer fees and money they pay their players, they are way down the pecking order.
Exactly. Pay bigger. So at the end of the day, he may be thinking, I'm not saying that he is, I'm just using he's going to go there. Spurs are not going to spend out big money.
Harry Kane is on 100 grand a week.
Yeah.
100 grand a week. He could be what could he be earning if he was somewhere else?
Well, how much is Mustafi on, do you reckon?
About 140.
140. So you've got Alderweireld at the moment. He's on £70,000 a week.
Yeah.
Theo Walcott is on 150
They're
grand
offering him £100,000 a week. So to stay in his house, to not move, stay in the same country, he can go and get a £40,000 pay rise. The chances of them winning the league is the same as what Arsenal have got.
What they?
That is nothing. You know what I mean? So it could go Chelsea. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, don't underestimate the power of Arsenal. And also, a lot of this thing, there is change at Arsenal. There is a different mentality now. Whether that stays with the manager or not, I don't know. But certainly. get more money. Has he been told something? So you've got to
all right, guys, can I just cut in for 2 seconds? Lee, Memz and Craig,
Yes, mate.
can I see Mesut Ozil's contract? Because he signed a contract for £350,000 a week with a club that's highly unlikely to get in the Champions League. I want to see the clauses in his contract.
Yeah, I think he's probably got a buyout clause there or something like that. Yeah,
of course he has.
Yeah, but even if he has, boys, he could have gone for nothing at the end of this season.
No, that's right. I mean, to be honest with you, it's good business by the club. But at least we can sell him in a year or so's time for like 30,
whatever.
40
Exactly,
million
but he could have gone for nothing and with a lot more money, unless he's been told something. Listen, I'm going to be honest. If I was Mesut Ozil, I wouldn't have signed that new contract. The way things are in the regime at the moment, because you know what's coming again next season.
Unless
it's been told.
Yeah, exactly.
Something's happened.
I totally believe, and I've said this on Twitter, and people have hung me out to dry for it. Arsene Wenger will leave at the end of this season. I am 100%. I am 100%. What's the word I'm looking for? Convinced that he's leaving at the end of the season. You've got Ivan Gazidis. You've got Ivan Gazidis moving his office.
Darth Vader. Is that Kenny?
Yeah.
It's me. The reason why I'm breathing like that is because we heard the same things last.
No. It's different, Ken. Ken, it's different. It's different this year.
I fully hear you. But consumes Arsene. It's not criticising him. It's just factual. Arsene's biggest ambition is still to win the Champions League.
It's not going to win a Champions League.
It's not going to happen. But if we do get into the Champions League, the group stages, that you cannot deny the fact that Arsene will want another consumes him. It's not the job that consumes him. Day. That's a fact. And the fact opportunities to right that wrong is the reason why he stays. Now, I know logic does say that it's Arsene's last season, but you can't. Arsene, the thing with Arsene Wenger, he's the Teflon man. You can never, ever underestimate his desire and his consumption of Arsenal Football Club. The job consumes him. It's what gets him up in the morning. To give that all up, not convinced.
He's making decisions without Arsene around. Hopefully now, that he ain't.
You see, another thing that I believe, people are saying, if they sack Wenger, it's going to cost the club 10 million, right? Because he signed a 2-year contract. Well, that's where my other conspiracy comes in. I don't think he signed a 2-year contract.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
I don't think he has signed a 2-year contract. I think he signed a 1-year contract, and they've said to him, Europa League or bust.
We'll see.
That's what I say.
Lads, can I ask you a question? Craig, I missed about a couple of minutes. I don't know if it's been discussed or not, but there was a tweet that was put out a couple of days ago that Lauren Koscielny is our greatest ever centre-back.
Oh, stop.
Don't get me wrong, right? We've seen backs over the last 15 gone. I'm talking about Senderos and I'm talking about Silvestre.
Diagan is better than Koscielny.
You know, don't get me wrong, all right? Lauren Koscielny was a decent signing for us. You know, he's done a great job. He's been a good centre back. But to say that he is the greatest centre back that the club has ever seen, considering that we've had like the likes of Tony Adams. Knowledge in terms of Arsenal's history before they come out and make statements.
He's not.
Keown, David O'Leary, Steve Bold come in front of them. Like, I've put him in the.
Frank McClintock's better than him.
Frank McClintock, Peter Simpson. I'd go into that sort of era.
Jonathan Giroud.
He's in the. I would say
Dustin Hoyt.
And Tommy Caton.
And
Andy Linegan. Oh my God.
Chris White.
Chris White. Chalky done a good job for us, but I think Lauren Koscielny's a good defender, but he's not even.
No.
we just rattled off there 6 or 7. You know, look, don't get me wrong. To be the 8th or 9th best centre half at Arsenal, still a good thing to have, but I wouldn't. Nah. At the end of the day, you never win a title.
The other tweet that I saw, which again was, I just actually sat back and just was like, Petr Cech proved that he's still the best goalkeeper in the world.
Come on, I'm a Petr Cech man. I'm a Petr Cech man, so I'm going to divorce myself from this conversation.
Kenny, you can't tell. Kenny, Petr Cech is not even in the top 10.
Of Arsenal
goalkeepers. No, someone tweeted out that he was the best goalkeeper in the world.
He was.
Still is.
No, he's a very good shot stopper and all that. I just think he's not.
My view on Petr Cech, right? I'll say it one thing. The reason why I still think that I want that Chelsea form, but the reason why I like Petr Cech is because he's vital to my dressing room. Petr Cech is a leader in that room, and basically, let's cut the crap, all right? The guys who run that dressing room are Petr Cech and Per Mertesacker, and their experience is invaluable to them. To my dressing room.
Well, it's doing no good, Ken. If they're running, if 1 second, mate, if they're running the dressing room, then something needs to change.
Yeah, you say that there was a dressing room, and Cech, he's not the goalkeeper that we saw in Munich in 2012.
He ain't got the defence in front of him. I think that's got to be
and that's the thing. You got to think a bit of. The thing is, he's 36. He's still a great shot stopper. He was never good with his feet anyway. No. You know, I speak to a lot of Chelsea fans, and they say that in terms of crosses, he's always punched the ball. He's always beaten punch. But you ask yourself a question: who's his goalkeeping coach? The guy he had the guy. Payton.
Yeah, look at Szczesny now.
Oh, how they laughed when I said about Szczesny coming back to Arsenal. Oh, how they laughed.
Buffon's in goal and he just pulled off a brilliant
save. One thing I will say about Petr Cech, this is what I'll say about Petr Cech, right? I'll give him a 1 year, I'll extend his contract and give him the coaching job at the club because I still think he's got experience. And I'll give him the job as a goalkeeping coach.
Yep.
So I'll do that. Yeah. I've no argument.
And what Petr could do, he could work with his successor and groom his successor. That's all I want. I respect your views. I am biased towards Petr Cech. He's my man. I get it, but I know that things are not the way they were when he was at Chelsea, especially in the 2012 season.
What you say about making him a coach makes perfect sense.
But I'll give him the goalkeeping coach job.
It makes perfect sense. There could be no one better. You know, it'll be a great acquisition for Arsenal to get Petr Cech as the goalkeeping coach. But what I'm saying is, there's people out there that believe he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He's not. He's not.
Look, you're not going to.
He's not in the top 10. He is not in the top 10 goalkeepers in the world.
I accept that. I accept that. But he's still the best goalkeeper at the club by a mile.
Yeah.
Of course.
What I think's happened with Petr at Arsenal. Anyone push. Undoubtedly a number one, which means after the calamities that people are talking about, he's still getting a game. He isn't the goalkeeper we saw in Munich in 2012 with Bayern Munich. It's not going to be that goalkeeper. But, again, that's where Arsene comes in. Arsene Wenger only cares about 2 positions, up front and midfield. Not defensive midfield or complete centre midfield. It's all about beautiful little players can do little triangles and support it. Play like, the next Xavi, the next Iniesta, all these lovely little players like Nasri, little balls, and he has his little dreams and all that. That is the player we're looking at. If you want Arsene Wenger to get a top goalkeeper, forget it. And that's what you're going to see.
Hi, Memz. Someone just trod on your toes, haven't he?
Oh, mate, Higuain just almost made it 3-0.
But I still think Petr Cech's the best we've got. I love him, but if Arsenal are serious, then they're going to have to get the next goalkeeper and get Petr Cech to groom him. That's my view on Petr Cech.
Absolutely.
I agree with everything you say about him.
I agree. I do agree with you on those points, Ken. But I can't have people telling me he's one of the best in the world because he's not. He was. Hands down, he was. But not now. Not now. Not now.
He'll still be at the club next season.
He will, yeah. 10 years ago, he was. Not now. Not now.
Still be.
I agree. I agree.
Right. We're going to finish it there, I think.
Yeah.
What a great conversation. Thanks very much for joining us. Everyone that's been watching us on YouTube, thank you very much indeed for sticking with us. There's Kenny Ken waving the cash.
That's his fee for tonight.
That's his fee, yeah, 30 quid.
Oh, like I said, I'm doing me little Stavros, a bit of Stavros, Harry Enfield.
Loads of money.
My thanks to Memz. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Cheers, mate. Love the shirt, by the way, Memz. Got to say
Cheers,
that.
mate. I got this from the Arsenal website. It's about 16 quid.
Hey, what's your name? What's your name? Vladimir Petrovic?
Oh,
good player, mate. Vladimir Petrovic. He was ahead of his time. It's one of my favourite kits, actually.
Yeah, it's a good one.
The only good thing Vladimir Petrovic did was score the second goal in a quarter-final in '83 against Aston Villa. Apart from that, he didn't do much.
My thanks to Kenny Ken. Thanks for coming on, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Cheers, Kenny.
Look at that chest. Look at that. Look at those pecs, eh?
Actually, we were just talking about that before you came on, actually, Ken. And we were just saying that all the people that give you grief on Twitter, I'd say they've never seen your actual frame. What was, like Memz was saying, we'd just like to say to the people that abuse Kenny Ken on Twitter, do it at your peril.
Unless you want to be eating for a couple of months.
Kenny Ken, when he shakes your hand, will rip it from its socket.
Rip your spine out of your fucking back.
It'll be like, you remember Mortal Kombat, when the geezer just like rips the head off someone? Fatality. Lee Judges, thank you very much. Do you know what, mate? I want you, after this show, I want you to go into the kitchen, get yourself a mug, bit of orange juice, bit of honey, bit of sugar.
Yeah.
Boil the kettle.
I'm really
guys,
suffering.
I'm going to have to go because I'm hearing some noises.
Okay, mate, no problem. All the best, fella. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm suffering. I've got a real
You
bad
are,
cold.
mate. Go and stir up a little potion for yourself.
Little lem sips on the way, like, you know.
Send you some proper village Turkish soup, my friend.
There you go.
That's it, lovely. Thank you very much.
That's an offer you can't refuse.
Some chicken, bit of lemon juice. I'll send you some, mate, make you feel better.
Thanks, everyone, again, who's watched us on Twitter and YouTube. Remember, if you're not following us on Twitter yet, please do. At the same old AFC. You can follow Kenny at KennyKen1972, I think it is. Go and follow Memz on Twitter as well.
No, I don't want no followers.
All right, okay. Don't follow Memz. Or you can go.
I don't need an account with 30,000 followers. I don't want no more followers. Fuck off.
You can go and follow Lee at Lee Mark Judges, and of course you can come and follow me if you'd like to at Scotty Boy Gooner. Okay, on to Thursday night. We play Ostersund, is it? I think is the way you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Some team from
in the elite European competition. Don't worry about what Spurs are playing in. It's all about the Europa League. We all know that. That's the elite competition you want to be in.
That's it.
We will see you.
No, I'm not going out there. Home game, but not the away one.
I wouldn't blame you, mate, to be honest. We will see you either Sunday or next Monday. Hoping that I don't get any more catastrophes along the way. Thanks very much for watching and sticking with us. And until we see you next time, up the Arsenal.
Right, you Gunners.